The history of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and its cinematic legacy. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, first published in 1818, is widely considered one of the earliest works of science fiction. Shelley, who was just 18 when she conceived the story, crafted a tale of ambition, scientific hubris, and the consequences of playing God. The novel tells the story of Victor Frankenstein, a scientist who brings a creature to life from dead body parts, only to be horrified by the result. The idea for Frankenstein was born during a now famous summer in 1816, when Mary Shelley, her future husband Percy Bysshe Shelley, Lord Byron, and others were staying at the Villa Diodati near Lake Geneva. Stuck inside due to the unseasonably cold weather, the group entertained themselves by telling ghost stories. It was during this time that Shelley dreamt of a scientist who created a man, and was horrified by his creation. Inspired by her dream and the scientific advances of her time, particularly in electricity and anatomy, Shelley wrote Frankenstein over the next 2 years. Shelley's novel explores deep themes about the limits of science, the nature of creation, and the ethics of scientific advancement. Victor Frankenstein's creation, often referred to simply as the monster, is a complex character who grapples with rejection and isolation due to his grotesque appearance. Over time, the story has been interpreted as a cautionary tale about the consequences of unchecked scientific experimentation and human pride. The cinematic legacy of Frankenstein began with the 1931 film adaptation directed by James Whale. This version of Frankenstein introduced the world to the iconic image of the monster as portrayed by actor Boris Karloff. With his square-shaped head, bolts in the neck, and lumbering walk, Karloff's interpretation became the definitive version of the monster and one of the most recognizable characters in film history. Karloff's portrayal was silent for much of the movie, relying on his physical performance to convey the monster's tragic nature. The makeup, designed by Jack Pierce, was revolutionary at the time, and Karloff's performance brought a mix of terror and pathos, showing the monster not as a mindless brute but as a misunderstood, lonely creature. The 1931 Frankenstein was a commercial success and spawned several sequels, including Bride of Frankenstein, 1935, which is often considered one of the greatest horror films of all time. In this sequel, Karloff reprised his role as the monster, while Elsa Lanchester played the iconic bride with her shock of white-streaked hair. These films solidified Frankenstein in pop culture and helped cement Universal Studios' reign as the king of classic horror. Over the years, Frankenstein has been adapted and reinterpreted countless times across various media, from plays and radio shows to movies and TV series. Each adaptation puts its own spin on Shelley's original work, but the themes of creation, isolation, and the consequences of scientific discovery remain central. In film, Frankenstein has seen versions that range from the serious to the comedic, like Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein, 1974, a parody that still pays homage to the original 1931 classic. Karloff's monster, though, remains the most enduring representation of Shelley's creation. The legacy of Shelley's Frankenstein lives on not just in film, but in its continuing influence on modern science fiction, bioethics discussions, and the broader cultural imagination about what happens when humanity pushes the boundaries of creation.